Szanowni Państwo,
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm overjoyed to be able to go through all the workshop sessions today. We are in for the last presentation today. Present recruitment methods and tools, case studies delivered by Michał, Kapczuk, recruitment marketing expert, president of Hire Company. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The first words are a great challenge for presenters after such an intense day. I was helped at the beginning because there is a great challenge how to present yourself in a natural way so that everybody understands what and how we speak and what we do in professional and private life. Before the presentation, I had a further off-stage discussion on how employers in Poland look for employees. And we know that many companies use job boards, employment notices at big portals. They use it in a standard way. Today's closing inspirational session is designed to go through the reality we have in Hire Employment Agency. For 7 years, we helped employers to reach candidates in an unusual way. We realized projects and programs to match the candidate's DNA with company's DNA. I'm going to tell you about it in a moment. We live in the market that changes a lot, and it's impacted by a number of factors. The recent global incidents related to pandemics, technological advancements. We have seen acceleration of these external factors. And I want to show you some trends we can see in the market now, with a special focus on young talents prospering, but this can be duplicated for people with greater experience. Employers change narrative. Not only do they present what they can get from candidates, they create narratives of what they can give and offer, what your work and life may look like. Both elements are very important, especially for younger generations. People are more important than the companies, so who I worked with, how is my team developed, how is my collaboration with the person I report to is streamlined, rather than esteem of the company and how many years it's been in business. These are very important things, but this is the second tier issues. This is the user, not the channel. Channels have been streamlined. Companies know that. What is the key is to acquire the prospective employee, a candidate, person to collaborate with. What is more and more important in the social media booming environment and a greater content that we have and the advertisements that we have, I believe that everybody who opens social media while scrolling your Facebook or LinkedIn profile or any other profile, you'll be targeted with a dozen or so advertisements. So employers want to create attention catchers, and they want to show their workplace through experiences. And we are going to speak about experiences. Having contact with many companies and international corporations in the Polish market, or family companies, startups that look prosper for employees. We have projects that are based on 6 pillars. They define each candidate acquisition process. Communication activities that we have should be simple and easy to understand for young people, and also for people who boast greater professional experience. This is the time of acceleration. There's lots of communication and messages that we are showered with in online media channel and offline channel. So the communication must be simple. There are more and more elements that are related to emotions. triggered by advertisements or recruitment communication. Storytelling is very well known, not to say that it's cliché. When you talk to candidates, when you tell them a story, you create a narrative. Credibility is of greater importance. In the era of broad information access and social media, we can see employers that create a story, try to be genuine. Sometimes they miss the target. The young people can see that's been a lot. A wow effect, a surprise effect. Every employer wants to show so that they stand out of the crowd of the message that we are showered with. And there is the guiding beacon for us, the inspiration to develop other solutions than those existing in the market. The best companies that employ now should avoid recruiting, but they should have the branding, the presence among the candidates, and make it a magnet. When we talk to many companies, we work with international corporations like Amazon, Accenture, Microsoft. Many smaller companies say you work with big global brands. So the conditions, whatever you propose them, how does it relate to us, the smaller companies or smaller facilities that operate on a local or a regional base? I live in Świecie by the Vistula River near Bydgoszcz-Toruń, and I like production facilities, image campaigns, the biggest employer in the region. It's not big brands only that become magnets. Local structures, local markets clearly demonstrate smaller companies that are region-based, how active they are. Young people and employees in the region who are the target of the company know what the company is. And when they think about switching jobs or applying for a position, they decide to apply with this company rather than any other company. What is also very important that relates to my off-stage discussion, the way candidates look for jobs changes. What worked a few dozen years ago, like web portals with job posts, career web pages of companies are very important, but they reach active candidates. A candidate needs to have a flashlight, time to change the job. They start browsing for possibilities of change, who employs and how much they pay, and so on and so forth. The new recruitment marketing attitude makes us reach passive candidates, those who have been employed. They are active in the employment market. They are not thinking about switching jobs, but we try to reach them in different forms of communication. Whenever they have an impulse in the back of the head, so that they think about a brand, we drag them into a history with trigger emotions, and the candidate starts thinking about switching jobs. There is economy of scale, of course. You cannot generalize it. But this is how we reach people who are better aligned, who are naturally better candidates without actually looking for a job opportunity. And there are many market changes in employer branding. Broadly defined employer's image. Employer creates their image, positioning, perception. A few dozen years ago, it was a product. When we started working, the job offer or the communication was product categorized. It keeps evolving. membership was an interim stage a few years ago through experience that we have now, especially in younger generations, the generation ZX that is entering the employment market. When selecting an employer, we have had very interesting campaigns over the last year, even in Poland. They look through the perspective of values. The employer follows and delivers not only job offer or task or brand that are associated with the values of the team they can work with. This slide, we won't be going through that. What is most important is that we started with a transactional relation. Employee came to a workplace selling their own hours as a product. Now employers try to get out of the box and try to have work as a natural point of life and something that is coherent with what people believe in their personal life. What is also important, communication based on a question. What is your job like? What are your daily chores like? What kind of projects do you work on? It is important. It's important for candidates, but this process has evolved through the objective of the work. What's the final result of my activities? What will it impact? The projects that I realize, what do they translate into? Is there a more profound sense and objective in them? And how it looks like? What is the objective of mine? How I deliver it? Do I have to go to the office? Can I work in teleworking? Is the atmosphere okay or not? In today's employment market, there is lots of possibilities. In the recent days, we've heard about mass layoffs, like Facebook losing 10,000 people losing jobs. Rather big brands that think about massive layoffs. In a local market, we haven't seen such drastic changes that result from the crisis and economic situation. Or, conversely, there are many options for market entrants. So, they show a workplace as a kind of experience, a history they tell to young people. As I was saying, it is important to pay attention to the needs of the generations we have. Very interesting situation. We have representatives of many generations. They have different needs. And the story told by employers must resonate with each target group. Starting with X generation. The world was open for them. They could use all the benefits of this world. They might have developed, feel more secure when it comes to the employment market. New generations, Y and Z, they have been raised in a pleasant atmosphere, the atmosphere of well-being when you compare generation to generation. They pay attention to different things. Aspirations, work-life balance, separation between professional life and private life. Today's generations blend. It's such an important part of life that it needs to be an adventure for them. An adventure we want to go into full thrust, become involved. In the context, what I'm going to show is that great part of our reality switched to the online world. New generations in social media online, they are totally immersed. The employers have to align with it, and the pandemics have pushed for that. So events, meetings, employment first, you had to give up on them and switch to the online world. A very important role. Leadership is a very important role. For X generation, it was important to have a leader and inspiration in the context of work. For younger generations, 3-in-1. You can get inspiration with knowledge and experience. And a person that can be a mentor or coach, kind of, to guide you, to prompt you whilst developing your career path. And when speaking about the channels that we can use as attention catchers for the candidates, in X generation, these were career websites, web portals for employment, rankings that candidates were browsing through. Now, all social medias come to the forefront. Media, new media, social media, people, influencers, socially important people, opinion makers, and friends that you consulted with. And we have a matrix. The third thing, culture and new trends. A new form of work, flexi working, task-focused work without attachment to the brand. People switch job every year. Little does it surprise. It's a question mark to the employer. It's a question mark to us when we employ people to our agency, but it's a natural thing. We can see applications from people who have worked in 5 different places over the period of last 5 years, and they keep looking for a place to stay in for longer. But employers are more often ready to see people rotating that often. Employers make greater endeavors to attract candidates. A regular work portal or career page. Oh, it's not enough to find an employee, right number of employees, greater transparency. Young people, candidates entering the job market, they want to know the employer the moment they make the decision to apply. They don't want to wait until they meet for an interview. They want to have the information up front. And human aspect. It used to be enough to represent a big brand, big employer, to generate lots of applications. Now, it's more profound. It goes deeper. A short video for you, and I want you to think about this simple career, the video material. Once you watch it, what are the 2 features of people? What are the 2 features of candidates the employer is into? The one we are going to show you. 90 seconds video. So the question is, based on this video, it's like movie theater production supported by a huge budget. Any ideas? What kind of person is this company looking for, character-wise? What is important for the company? Excellent. Right. Dynamics, young people, perceptive, much is happening, mobility. Right. Flexibility. Social competences, right. This is the charm of recruitment marketing. Now, 90 seconds communication. Some people may like it, some people may find it discouraging, but this is what it is all about. You generate ideas for recruitment marketing and you impact people who fit to a brand, have the DNA that is in line with what we are, what we do as a company, and therefore they apply. On the other hand, the people who have watched the movie and say, it's not for me, it's still about discouraging the people, such people from applying because we save internal resources and recruiters' time.
We often hear stories say that after we published an ad, we had 500 applications. This happens less and less often, but it still happens. Is that good or bad? Because somebody had to sit down, look over 500 applications, select 50 for a contact, 20 were rejected after the telephone conversation, and nobody was hired. So this video is one of the elements used in recruitment marketing, but it's quite tangible proof that after watching this short clip, you can make a more conscious decision about whether to apply or not. Of course, the standard meeting point between candidate and employer is the job offer itself, and we are a recruitment marketing agency. As such, we've founded our own startup. So if we were to close our eyes, and I won't ask you to do that because it's getting dark and you might fall asleep, so, well, yes. So if we were to close our eyes and imagine the standard job advertisement, so I see a bullet point list, a text, maybe a small graphic logo type. And on this basis, the candidate has to decide whether they want to apply or not. Going further, we ask ourselves, well, what kind of data can we gather from how the candidate found the job offer? Well, usually we cannot glean much data about the candidate from these standard job offers. So what we've created, we've created a tool that changes the job offer into a fully functional web pages, so the candidate can get a feel for the company. On the other hand, we want to get as much analytical data as possible to find out what sort of benefits or what sort of expectations the candidate paid attention to. How was this distributed among the candidates? Where do candidates come from? What source did most people apply from? Is it a job page, or is it a social media ad, or an ad at a career office? So we've created a tool that changes the face of job advertising. So the candidate gets the information, the salary range, the type of employment contract, some insights about the company. So they get drawn into why a given company, and this can be customized fully. But we need to draw in the candidate. Some people scroll through the whole offer, some dwell on the details, and the details are very important. A young and dynamic team in one company is might be something else in another company. So some candidates really read the fine print. We also have a section about benefits, what we can offer. We have a section where the candidate can get to know the company. We have why is this important? Well, at this point, over 60% of candidate movement comes from mobile devices, and often application forms require clicking, over 30 seconds of clicking. So we always imagine somebody's on a tram, on a bus, they come across a job ad with a nice slogan, a nice video. They decide to apply, so I start the application process. My stop comes and I have to get off. Am I able to apply in 3-4 seconds? Well, that may be a key factor for the company to successfully recruit. So we are seeing a revolution in terms of how companies present themselves. So just to conclude, a number of benchmarks or examples of what has been happening. These come from the last 2 months, all sorts of campaigns aside from one from a year ago. So we see that companies want to reach out to candidates, and they're trying to make things even more attractive to get these people fully involved from the very beginning. So it's no longer enough to have internships. Well, these are still around, but they're often being replaced by case academy type projects. or a nano shadow where young people can sort of ghost audit companies across Poland, and they can determine whether they like the job or not. Other installations are also held offline. These are interesting things as well. Directly on the street, not just billboards, city lights, posters where we write, "We're a great employer. We have 20,000 employees, join us." That no longer speaks to young people. So now we are seeing all sorts of ambient installations. Here, IBM created things, created objects to help people. So the message was IBM is a company that helps you live better, that makes your life better. So whether these were awnings or a way to get up the stairs, murals that are visually attractive, or various kinds of road shows involving students and academics through workshops, outdoor cinema, and other events. All based on emotions and based on the story that we want to construct. So in sum, I hope that today's evening will be emotional and inspiring for you. And I think that's it from me.